It was a brisk October evening when the invitation came, a weathered piece of parchment adorned with mysterious symbols. My curiosity piqued as I unfolded it to reveal the cryptic message.
You are invited to a night of exploration where the boundary between the living and the dead blurs. Join us at the old cabin in the woods if you dare.
The sender's name was absent, but the allure of the invitation was impossible to resist. It was as if fate itself had summoned me to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within that isolated cabin. With a mixture of trepidation and excitement, I decided to heed the call. As I ventured deeper into the dense woods, a haunting stillness enveloped me, broken only by the distant hoot of an owl. The full moon cast an ethereal glow, guiding me to my destination. The cabin stood in eerie silence, its time-worn exterior a stark contrast to the vibrant colors of autumn that surrounded it. Gingerly, I stepped inside, my senses heightened by the foreboding atmosphere. The air was thick with dust, and a musty scent permeated the space. It felt as though I had stepped back in time, transported to an era long forgotten. I was not alone. My friends, Julia, Eric, and Sarah, emerged from the shadows, their eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and fear. They too had received the enigmatic invitation and heeded its call.
Do you really think this is a good idea?
Julia asked, her voice barely above a whisper.
Who knows what we might discover?
Eric replied, his adventurous spirit overcoming his doubts. As we gathered around a weathered wooden table at the heart of the cabin, we noticed an object that sent a shiver down our spines. An Ouija board. Its presence confirmed our suspicions about the nature of this gathering.
This is an Ouija board,
Sarah said, her voice trembling.
I've heard stories about how dangerous it can be.
Curiosity and apprehension warred within us, but the allure of contacting spirits from beyond was too enticing to ignore. We agreed to proceed with caution, promising to stop if things became too unsettling. Placing our fingertips lightly on the planchette, we took a deep breath and began to ask questions. At first, the planchette moved with a sluggish reluctance, seemingly unwilling to cooperate. We laughed nervously, dismissing it as mere coincidence. But as we persisted, the atmosphere shifted, and an invisible presence seemed to engulf us. The planchette began to move more rapidly, spelling out messages that grew increasingly specific and unsettling. It was as though the spirits had taken control, guiding our hands across the board. A wave of unease washed over us, and we felt an unsettling presence drawing near. The once dormant cabin came alive, with creaking floorboards and distant moans echoing through its halls. Shadows danced on the walls, contorting into sinister shapes that sent shivers down our spines. Hours passed like seconds as we delved deeper into the mysterious realm. The messages became more explicit, as if the spirits sought to test the boundaries of our courage. They spoke of secrets long buried, secrets we had never shared with anyone.
No more, we have to stop this,
Julia pleaded, her voice quivering with fear. The rest of us agreed, and we tried to remove our hands from the planchette, but it was as though an unseen force held us captive. Panic set in as the board seemed to resist our attempts to end the session. At that moment, the atmosphere in the cabin changed. The temperature plummeted and a cold breeze swept through the room. The candles flickered wildly, casting elongated shadows on the walls. An ominous silence engulfed us, and we knew we had disturbed something beyond our understanding.
We need to break the connection,
Sarah said, her voice filled with urgency. With trembling hands, we threw the board aside, hoping it would put an end to the horror. But it was too late. The malevolent force had been unleashed, and we were its unwilling prey. One by one, my friends vanished, leaving behind only echoes of their terrified screams. I was left alone, trapped in a nightmare that had become all too real. The cabin had transformed into a living, breathing entity that sought to consume us. Desperation drove me to search for answers. I returned to the board, hoping to communicate with the malevolent entity one last time. What I encountered was beyond comprehension. It claimed to be a vengeful spirit, seeking retribution for a past injustice. The more I interacted with it, the more powerful it became, feeding off my fear and despair. I was in a battle for my very soul, struggling to break free from its malevolent grip. But the more I resisted, the stronger it became, and the cabin itself seemed to conspire against me. Days turned into weeks, and I became a mere shell of my former self, tormented by the malevolent force. It followed me everywhere, taunting me with sinister whispers and nightmarish visions. I had unleashed a darkness I couldn't control, and now it was consuming me from within. In my desperation, I sought help from paranormal experts, but they warned that there was no easy way to banish such an ancient and malevolent spirit. I had opened a portal to the beyond, and the only way to close it was to face the entity head-on. Summoning all my courage, I returned to the cabin one last time. Armed with knowledge and determination, I confronted the spirit, challenging its malevolence and demanding it to leave me be. The struggle was intense, and it seemed like an eternity before the entity finally relented. The cabin fell silent, and the malevolent force vanished into the void. But the horror had left its mark on me forever. I escaped the clutches of the Ouija board, but the echoes of that night would haunt me for the rest of my days. This experience serves as a grim reminder that toying with the supernatural can lead to disastrous consequences. The Ouija board is not a game. It's a window into the unknown, and once opened, the darkness might consume you whole. Be careful what you wish to communicate with, for some things are better left undisturbed.